This is Rafiq Luzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk. We are here with another episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafiq Luzon alongside Ryan Walker, or should I say Wavy Walker. How you doing today?
Tired. I am really tired. Pardon me, I'm tired. But I feel like I'm playing in March Madness. Very, very tired. It was a long weekend. But how are you feeling as well too?
I'm feeling great. I mean, as you guys would notice, I'm fresh off my PA announcer debut the past few weeks with the Queens baseball and softball games. And obviously, the teams are not that great, but just getting the public address announcer experience for me is great. And it's going to help for future sports opportunities, especially with the summer coming around. Maybe I might want to come down just to announce some basketball at some point. I mean, we talked about it a couple of times, but that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, it just felt good presented my voice to not just Queens College, but just the whole entire sporting environment to some of the local collegiate teams in that particular borough. Even if all I do is just say names, introduction, outro, and yeah, any opportunity to present my voice is better after the ending I've had with WSGU radio. I mean, you have to continue your career somehow before the end of the school year at least.
Well, listen, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great work that you're doing down there. Everybody in life, you dream. All right, if you play sports, you want to get to the professional level, or if we do what we do, we want to be at the highest level of what we do, whatever the case may be. But you got to understand, sometimes there's a lot of good talent at D3, D2, D1, junior college. There's a lot of, once you're collegiate of an athlete, you can do something of some, talent and realms. So but that's great coverage. Still keep it up and cover it. Because guess what? Now I get you in tune with so many schools. What is Queens College in the ECC, right? Are they in the ECC
Conference?
Right. So the school in general plays a lot of schools, a lot of big time schools and programs. Any sport that you can do, and you can orate and magnify your talents and see the game. You know what? This is great for you too. Now you see the game of baseball in a different way.
Yeah, I see the teams. Yeah, you're getting more in depth on the teams that are playing as an intern at Queens College. I mean, there are teams that I haven't even heard of, like Mercy University, Duville University, St. Thomas Aquinas University. I've never even heard of any of those teams or any of those schools. Right. But after doing my research, I know there's certain schools. I know there's certain schools like in West Hempstead that play in the same conference with Queens College.
Adelphi.
Yeah, Adelphi. I mean, I haven't seen them play Adelphi, but I know there are other schools.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. There probably is another ones. The other ones too. Really, honest to God.
Yeah, other schools, but more on that later. But that's besides the points. It's a great environment for all of us. Oh yeah, there's also Malloy University, which I believe, after doing my research, is located.
That is
located in Hempstead area.
Yes, that's 5 minutes from my house. It's actually, that's considered, is that Lakeview? That's considered Rockville Center. But when I tell you, 5 minutes, just down the road, we could drive and go right over. It's a little overpass. And Malloy is the first thing once you come over down the overpass. Malloy. So Malloy is in the Hempstead area, per se, of Long Island. But I believe that's called Rockville Center over there. But a very good academic school.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, a very good academic school too. You would love an alma mater like that. Being the type of academic programs and stuff you've been to. And before we even teeter the moment, I just want to get them out. Get this one out real quick. May 30th, Jersey Invade, Ballin for Peace, NYC Elite 32. And Wavy World, we will be in Jersey. It's going to be a very good classic. It's all age groups. I believe it's going from middle school all the way to high school up. There's going to be ladies divisions too. So this is going to be super. They have a great gymnasium, beautiful gymnasium. It's going to be great to be a part of it. Me and Slim probably will definitely be out there in Jersey. So the Jersey Invade, May 30th, all teams, make sure you get locked in. That's Born for Peace, NYC Elite 32, and Wavy Walk with myself with the Wavy World Podcast. Also, this Wednesday, and you'll love this one as well too. give a shout out to my man Brandon Allen, trying to show it right there on there for King of Queens basketball. This and whenever we put this out there, but April 8th, so this Wednesday, Ian Jackson will be in the building, St. John's. He'll be helping out with the clinic. There'll be 4 teams that will be playing there as well as 2 Tribe Stars, Shots with Patience with my guy Dre. Tribe Stars, I know the coaching staff and the guys down there too, so God bless them. I'll see those guys down there too. There's gonna be like a middle school team, I believe, playing, and one other game. It's gonna be really, really good. ESPN, I believe, is supposed to be a part of it, quote unquote, as well. So maybe they'll be in the building, who knows? And it will be at August Martin High School. August Martin High School, Baisley Boulevard. I'm not sure the exact address, but that's where it will be this Wednesday. So big shout out to them. And the last one, big shout out to my guy Malachi Wilson. He gonna get so blushing again. He made these shirts for us at the takeover. These, the dope takeover look and everything, and definitely put the Wavy World stuff on there on the back. So that was pretty cool of him. So shout out. He's gonna be doing a lot of financial literacy. He already does that per se, but more with the athletes and the players. He was at the takeover tournament yesterday. We were speaking about things. So those are some of the future things that's coming on. And of course, everybody knows June 20th, Queens College. The celebrity game. So.
Yeah, that's gonna be big, and I love that Haran's promoting it heavy at this April Fool's comedy show like last week.
Yes,
him and 1-2 combo, they promoted it heavy. And Combo's a hilarious debater. I'll get with that. He's on House Highlights. He's on Overtime Lunchbox, and obviously you know what overtime is. And I've been, and yeah, we've had times of overtime in some shape or form. We've had times with House Highlights because we know people there, but that's besides the point. Yeah, shout out to them and Haran for doing amazing work promoting that event. And yeah.
And I believe H2O now is I know he's down in Georgia. I know I think it's his pop's birthday, so he's down there. So big shout out to him. Hopefully he enjoy. God bless him once he gets back. And so next week, April 14th, we'll be doing the Wavy World Podcast. We're supposed to have Coach Sharf from Bayside High School. Big shout out to him. And Luca will be a senior next year, and Joseph Silvetti. So they will be on the Wavy World Podcast next week. And we're also going to have my guy, Rodini from I Love B-Ball. Big shout out to my guy, Rodini from I Love B-Ball. He will be down in the show. He's supposed to be bringing 2 players as well, too. So we'll have that up and running for next week. And yeah, man. Big shout out to what we do, and big shout out to Bayside. We locked in the Prime Wave live stream with them as well too. So we'll be doing more of their home games, and if not all of them, or the big games for next season. And also we'll be doing future work projects with them as well too, through the school to try to bring more recognition and name back to to Bayside High School. So big shout out to that, and the Takeover tournament this weekend. The first 2 weekends was just. But this weekend, great. We had great players. It was crazy. You seen all the stuff. We did so much stuff. So, Prime and my man Commissioner Moore, we doing a great job down there. It's a good work, and it's becoming super polarizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the work. I love the work you guys are doing. I mean, any opportunity to be involved in the basketball environment is literally something big. And good interview you've done recently with the women's basketball stuff for the Wavy World Podcast. It's a pretty good interview. I see like the first 15 minutes of it. And yeah, I love the fact that these high school kids are actually learning from other athletes. And yeah.
Morgan, that's Morgan. I'm saying her last name, McPherson. So I'll probably say your name wrong, but that's Morgan. She plays on the Mary Lou squad. Very smart girl. Her media name, I know probably you'll look into this after, is Shiner Visuals. She does a lot of media work as well too, camera work. She's done a lot of tournaments all over New York City and so on and so forth, and stays the work. So I just thought it was pretty cool that she's an athlete. She does this photography stuff. She does the camera work. She has her page with that, and she's a young lady doing it too, and also a student. That's doing well in the classroom as well too. So she has a bright future going on for her. Coach Trav, I hope I said your name right too. Coach Travis, down there for the Mary Lou School. It takes pride, discipline, and patience to work the right way. And they're rebuilding the program, and they're doing the right things down there. So hopefully they keep giving him the right tools and resources so he can do well with these ladies, because they're doing a phenomenal job, the whole program. And yeah, I thought it was great to have her speak. It was great. We were supposed to have Ava Thomas as well that day, one of the star players on Mary Lou's school.
Times like where I did it.
Yeah, I know. But let's just listen to a little while it's happening. Let's just listen to a little snippet of that interview because it's really inspiring.
This camera was a Sony A7 II. I didn't know how to use it. I was confused. I was just going with the flow of things. And I was still playing AAU my sophomore year with Positive Direction.
Yeah. Shout out to Joanne and Foots.
Yeah. And they're a stomping ground for me. They really helped me get Shiny's visual on the board. So I shot my first New York versus New York tournament. It was a girls' jamboree. I didn't even have a media credential. I was just there, you know.
Wow.
Just taking pictures, not knowing what I was doing. I didn't know how to edit, anything like that.
Was that last year? Was that
yeah.
The year before?
Yeah, I shot it 2 years ago.
It was okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know Shay Days?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
Yeah, we got to
course.
get her with you, you know, kind of mentor you.
Yes.
Have you talked to her or anything like that? Okay, cool. So so you should definitely tap in with her. She's been on her grind. That was somebody who's coming up as...
Shayla's one of my dogs. I got the personal number right here. Nothing, married, 4 kids. Don't even do that for TV, all right? But not married, but 4 kids and everything. We can definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. So yeah, shot the girls' jamboree. Didn't know what I was doing, and it kind of went up from there. I went to Molloy College, did some work with them as well. They really supported my work, even though right now, like if I look back at my work now, I'm like, what was that, you know?
Yeah.
But to them, it was something that they didn't have. So I appreciate them for taking me in and allowing me to come to the games and stuff like that. But ever since sophomore year, it just went up. Time flies. I mean, I would never imagine like where I'm at today if I look back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, it's scary with that. And then make sure you look through your memory decks because any pictures you have of Slim and H2O, they need them sent for free immediately. Right, Slim? That's usually how it works?
Yeah,
I've tried. You've been marketing me very well with this.
What content, content will collaborate posts and things.
Yes. She was so good that I thought she was older than what she was.
Okay.
I didn't even, I learned at Media Day doing the work that I'm like, baby, don't you do the... And she's like, no, I play here too and coach, and we was all there. And so that's why it was just, your maturity and what you're doing in the game is existential. So just keep up the good work and, keep doing what you're doing. We'll definitely, hopefully see you June 20th and so on and so forth. So keep it up. And I didn't know you had Long Island ties too. We got to speak about that as well too and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, that interview is something that people could look back at and wonder, anything can get done if you just put your mind to it. Imagine, you started covering the University of the girls' jabroni. I actually went to a girls' jabroni a few last summer. I don't know if you know. You see my video where Deja Kelly was interviewed by Malcolm and who's the guy that does the announcing for Nike Pro City? Joe Pope, yeah. You see my clip? I was there. Yeah, I caught some of the action. Girls Jabroni made pretty good environment.
No, that was a dope thing. That Nike did a good job with that. And
getting back to the interview, looking back at it, what have you learned from interviewing somebody that's actually trying to be on the come up and start a platform, especially being that there's more to Beloit University than what I thought when I'm just covering the Queens College games. Playing against Beloit, excuse me.
Yeah, Morgan's interview was great. She was great. Coach was great. It was great to see Ava perform the other day too at the 20 hoops thing. So shout out to my man Maurice, 20 hoops, and of course Rashad for the initiator for the women's part of the women's game. So that was so great. It's great to showcase the ladies, the high school players, to give them a platform. There's many places we get to cover, but in general, the high school boys have more media outlets and more people behind them giving them platforms. So they have those platforms. It's there for them. The ladies have it, but they don't have it as much. So as much as we can infiltrate to magnify them as well, you've been doing it for ages. So these are the things that we need to do as well too. So it's great to have them on the show. They were the first high school program that we had of any realms. That was a women's team that came on the show. We've had other high school coaches and guests, but it's always been, the boys' high school men's side. So it was great to showcase them, for them to speak and talk about their journey throughout the season and things they went through. So they'll be back at it, and They got good players, and like you said too, with it's so crazy. We talked about it, one time off the air, but it's nothing bad. Listen, sometimes guys are in D2 or D3 because of grades. In high school, it could be because maybe they got in a little trouble. You know what I'm saying? It could be financial as well too. There's many different reasons, or you going Division 1 is an accomplishment. Like, people don't understand how it is only 400 Division 1 schools, or 389, well, something. It's 400 something, right? It's hard to get to a Division 1 school and get a full trip, three-quarter, partial, half. It's hard. So sometimes the perception is wrong. Sometimes it's like, yo, you playing ball, yo, you gotta go D1. No, everybody doesn't have to go Division 1. And everybody's not going to go Division 1.
You're telling me there's one kid from Eagle Academy Bronx that got offered to go to Queens College.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. These are good schools. Malloy's, these are good. It's all about going a place where you're gonna have an opportunity to play and grow, and get an education and get it for free. You can always work hard, do what you got to do, whether playing or not playing as much. And in the future, if you don't like that starting place, that doesn't mean you have to end there. You know what I'm saying? But you have to put in the necessary work. And then, it's all about a lot of things too. It's about luck. It's about having the right people behind you. It's a lot of politics. So people are at these schools for a reason. You know what I'm saying? There's many different realms, and that doesn't take away. And listen, you went to the Queens College girls games. They didn't have a great season this year. They had their struggles, but you know what? Think about it. All 12 of those girls on roster were the woman, part of my French, somewhere else. In high school, I bet you they were somebody. They had to do something. You just don't, you know what I'm saying? You can't just it's very rare you just gonna come off the street and go into Malloy and Queens College and just make the team. You know what I'm saying? The women and males, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are tryouts for a realm, but how many spots do collegiate teams really have for a tryout person to make it? One, maybe two, some none. You know what I'm saying? I respect those people that play. The baseball team is going through its training. It's sports. Some years you getting your butt kicked. Look at we could talk about this with tournament. Look, St. John's was bad for a while. They're not bad no more. They're damn good. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be good for the future to come, especially if Rick is there. They had years where they weren't good. So now it takes time to build that, and they've done that slow maturation, but it's growth, it's development. All these teams, it takes time. I respect Division 2, Division 3, JUCO, junior college, all those guys. There's good athletes there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely good athletes, and this go for somebody, and this is something that people need to share. I mean, I tried out for the basketball team a couple of times when I was attending Canarsie High School. I never made the team. I played a student versus staff game. I never scored or never dribbled the ball. And here I am, after starting up to put this, a graduate from LIU Brooklyn and Fordham University, two schools with Division I teams,
right?
Gaining experience in media, in journalism, whether it's videography, photography, broadcasting, TV production.
When you
starting up to put that sports talk. And you see on the credentials, you see when I was interviewed, I'm fresh off doing my third Big East tournament. Two of them was won by St. John's.
That's right. That's true.
With Queens College. Yeah. Anything can get done as far as being involved in basketball if you just put your mind and focus to it.
Well, there was two things that was scary about that. One, now you're going to think you're like the St. John's Big East Lucky Charm. So the last 2 years you went there, St. John's has won. So that means you have to go cover it again next year. If you're not there and they lose, then that means that you weren't there.
Let's not forget, but I was there with UConn won in 2024, and I was a student at St. John's when UConn took out St. John's in semifinals on the way towards winning the Big East and national championship. And funny enough, during the national championship this year, they weren't a number 1 seed. We'll get more to that later. Yes, so I'm not that much of a lucky charm as many people think. And that was before I started going to that school to get my doctorate. And that's another thing. I struggle with. I ain't had the best learning environment when I was a special ed for most of my childhood up until I graduated Canarsie High School. I ain't had the best experience with the Regents and RCTs. And here I am doing a doctorate degree at St. John's University after being a graduate from LIU Fordham once again. What more do I need to say? Anything can get together. I didn't have the employment work that you had, but I worked for myself.
No, I mean, you're going to have to get one of those cool jerseys when you graduate from St. John's. You're going to have like all three alma maters. Like you're going to have, you know, those guys that wear like the three different parts on the jersey.
I've been envisioning that. I'm actually thinking about do something with my logo at the front, and then on the back I put in my three alma maters and all the events I've covered. It's in the mention that I need to continue to cover the WNBA in person a bit more than what I've actually done. When people get past my so-called psychological behavior, so I wasn't always this disciplined, mature when I was on the come up, but more now another time behind closed doors. But more to the point, anything can get done if you put your mind to it.
100%. So I appreciate you definitely watching that thing with I was on Wavy World.
Your work had to be showcased, my guy. How are we going to promote each other when I promote your work as well?
100%. We've been doing this for a long time, man. Through COVID, before, oh my God. I remember when we used to go to the little studios. What was it on 28th Street?
It was the 34th Street. It was a few blocks away from MSG and close to the Garden. Yeah, I remember those stadium days. I remember those studio days. But don't worry, we'll be back, especially now that you guys need to do your show.
I do have to swim. Big shout out to my man Hector from Bronx Tale Studios because he take care of us, man. He makes sure he got everything right for what's going on with Wavy World. Him and Thomas do all that, you know, that behind the work, engineer work, which I'm getting more into realms of doing as well too, because it's just you know how it is, man. It is so. After we do this today, and I'm in the house, I get to look at some of the highlights. I haven't even seen anything that's going on with the games. Like I've just been score watching because from going to do the league for Takeover, and then we came back. We did it Sunday again. It was back to back. Last weekend was back to back to 20 hoops. Like I said, big shout out to Rashad for the initiated and bringing the women's game towards the 20 hoops event. My man Maurice with 20 Presents. It was just a phenomenal event. So many really good high school players throughout the metropolitan area were in the building. And the ladies' game was so special too. So big shout out to like they said, she said positive direction, PD Nation, Josephine, the moms and Foots. You know, they got a great thing going, of course, with positive direction that's been doing it for years. And the moms is actually, she's like one of the heads of like the Catholic League. She's with that and Foots, definitely they both together. They have that PD Nation program and it's phenomenal. The two young ladies from Christ the King, Josephine and Jennifer, the daughters. Yes, they're also playing at Christ the King and they did very phenomenal with themselves. I seen them the next day after that. They were so crazy. The young ladies were very, very nice. So very smart girls. And like you said, it's just so cool sometimes to showcase them because the ladies' game is, and you're wearing the right hoodie, the professional game. And, that's one of the, the drops in the segments, man. We're getting WNBA basketball, huh? Thank God.
Yeah, we are. Thank God. But more on that later. I mean, we already went over that the last time. And then while we're on the subject, talk about the WNBA, that's a good opportunity to transition to what happened to start our free agency. How about Angel Reese, a national champion with LSU in 2023? After 2 seasons with the Chicago Sky, she gets traded to the Atlanta Dream for some draft picks in 27 and 28. What do you think about that?
Well, if it works for both sides, it works for both sides. I guess Chicago is in a rebuild, right? Mm-hmm. Is Copper still down there? No. Is she down there?
No, Copper plays for the Phoenix Mercury.
She's on the Mercury. She made that championship run, right? With or at least
the Phoenix Mercury. She was at a championship run.
Rafi, you know what? It's good for both sides. Chicago, how many draft picks do they get?
Well, they traded a draft pick in 2027 and a draft pick in 2028 to get Angel Reese. But more on that later. What do you think that Angel Reese could learn? Well, yeah. Deanna Dreamer said the 2027 first round pick and 2028 first round pick to Chicago Sky for Angel Reese and 2028 second round SWAT rights. So, yeah. So she'll be joining the likes of Alasia Gray, Brittany Griner, Ryan Howard, Brianna Jones. The Atlanta Dream Team looking to bounce back from the first round exit to the Indiana Fever that were depleted with injuries.
You know what? It actually gives them a nice front court if you really think about it. You know,
yeah, Griner, come on, this gives Angel Reese an opportunity to actually win something. It gave her an opportunity to win something because you wasn't winning anything when you was in Chicago.
They weren't good. They weren't good, and like you said, she's on a team now. If her and Griner and they can control that front court, they can definitely get a lot of rebounds. You know what I'm saying? So if it works for both sides, it works for both sides. If I was Atlanta, I would have tried to squeeze out one more draft pick from it. I mean Chicago. I'm sorry, I would have tried to get one more draft pick. So, but hey, listen, if they get two good draft picks that work out for them in the long run, then it's a good trade for both sides. It helps Atlanta too. She's a good piece. I think Angel Reese, and I know you like and respect her too. I know, but there's other people. I could care less. This era of life is different, and things have changed. It's not the 1970s and 80s and 90s of sports no more. 2000 either. I don't care what you do in your outside life. If you perform on the court or perform at wherever your sports and apparatus is, and as long as that is not affecting you here, so I think she gets a bad rap. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because of who Angel Reese is, like, as a person, her personality. She's dope. She has a podcast. She does the modeling thing. She does this, she's that. I get it. She can always play. You know what I'm saying? She was a national champion. She was an incredible rebounder in college. She could put the ball in the bucket, whether it looked unorthodox or not. People say, there's a lot of players that look unorthodox and shoot the ball and put the ball in the basket. Sean Marion was not a perfect pro, but he could shoot the ball. It worked for him. He was a pro. So this is good for her. She gets to go to a team where she doesn't have to be the center point. And she can just blend in, be herself. She's still going to get attention. She's one of those players. She's a leader in essence. But with those type of players there, especially with that team getting to the first round and having a bad exit, and they've had enough talent over the last few years, Atlanta, to be competitive. They've been somewhere in the mix normally, correct?
Mm-hmm.
With a pickup like this, it's great for her, great for them. This is a good 50-50 trade if Chicago hits winners on those draft picks for those upcoming years.
Yep, that's definitely a fact. I mean, the Atlanta Dream, they were one of the top teams in the WNBA, and obviously they've been home early, despite home court advantage in a 3-game set. But I expect them to get better after picking up Angel Reese, where she doesn't have to be the front person. She can at least contribute. And look out for Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese duking out at ATL. That's all I got to say. Because those are the premier
that's right.
The 2024 WNBA draft.
That's you know what, boy.
We're gonna have Indiana gonna have a problem.
That you're a good journalist. That is the other part that I forgot about. That, well, even with Chicago they would play, but now they're even more of a deeper rivalry with Atlanta and Indiana, and that'd be very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be very interesting. You want to know something else? Yeah, your original hometown, which actually now is about to have its first WNBA team, their roster have just been constructed recently, and unfortunately, sadly, Nara Sabali is in the mix. Along with her is Marina Mayberry, Julie Almond, Adja Kane, Christy Wallace, Lexis Hull, Then that's just to name a few of these players from the Toronto Temple roster. So, yeah, Nara Sabali, who carried the Liberty to a championship in 2024, she's now going to Toronto Temple after the expansion draft that happened between Toronto Temple and Portland Fire. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, that's a lot of acquisitions and moving around, per se. Listen, there's going to be expansion in the league, and it's good to see the dream back. You've talked to me about some other teams that might be coming back in the future as well, too. So it's good for the game. Boy, I'm telling you, our Liberty needs to find a way to make sure they can win a championship sooner or later again, because the WNBA is super competitive right now. It really is super competitive.
Well, good news. Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, along with John Jones, all say they intend to come out to New York Liberty. So the championship competitive toughness will hold up for at least another season in New York. Even with two new teams coming, and of course Angel Reese going to the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA they're not going away anytime soon.
No, sir.
Brianna Stewart said herself in the podcast in Mount Sir, she's coming back. Sabrina Ionescu coming back. Junko Jones intends to come back, as reported by Jackie Powell from the 9. Ain't no team going away anytime soon.
No, sir. It's super competitive.
But the one team that is going away, unfortunately, sadly, the basketball capital of the world is about to lose its WNBA team. Just to bring back a franchise that already has a WNBA team, that already has 4 championships before they folded in 08. The Connecticut Sun, they're going to be in their final season. After this season, they're going to move to Houston and become the Houston Comets. Now, you watch basketball from the Houston Comet days. What do you think that this generation of basketball fans going to learn from the Houston Comets when it all comes together?
Well, what they will learn from the Houston Comets is that they absolutely decimated New York, because every time we went to the finals with them, we would end up losing.
And we have a chance to get redemption from that. If they put together a final team, we can redeem ourselves from that loss. Okay, let's not forget.
It never. Those are some things that you just can't. And I mean, they did beat us in the finals, but I was just breaking chops more with that. But what you're gonna remember at Houston is that they had a dynasty. Quietly, they started off the WNBA and they won the first 4 championships, correct?
Mm-hmm.
4 championships.
97, 98, 99, 2000.
Yeah. So, in essence, they are the New York Islanders did it, of course, in hockey. They won 4 straight from the 79 season to the 82-83 season, per se. But they're the other last team to win 4 straight in whatever we consider the professional realms, right? Of what they did. They had great players. They had the perfect, like, what their draft and what they're perfect. Rest in peace. They had Kim Perrott, perfect point guard, could shoot the mid range, can get to the basket, was a heck of a passer and a distributor, and a rebound. Yes, rest in peace, her soul, man. A heck of I mean, you want to talk about a defender? Jeez. She was a heck of a defender, perfect point guard. Then you have an amazing Cynthia Cooper, who is one of the best talents we've seen as a woman. One of them. I mean, her and Cheryl Miller was in the same college together. Okay? And Cheryl Miller, debatably, or maybe not, could be the greatest women's player we've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Her, and there's a lot we could talk about. Shamika Holsquare, my girl down there that's on Las Vegas. She's a bad girl in my eye. I think she's one of the best to ever play. There's been a lot of talents that we've seen. Cheryl Swoops. I mean, there's a lot of girls. But Cynthia Cooper was a relentless offensive machine. She could shoot the 3. She could shoot the mid-range. She could shoot off the dribble. She could shoot off 2 dribbles. She made her free throws. She was clutch. She had a swag with her. She was a woman Jordan at that time. And then they had years, remember, of course, with Cheryl Swoops. She did have a baby, eventually came back and still played too. Well, they had those three. So you got that. And then you got a young Tina Thompson. So from the 1 to the 4 position, there's nothing you can do with that team. They were offensively gifted. They defended at a high level, and they were a legacy team. And, God bless, we had good teams, but God bless Teresa Weatherspoon one time threw a shot from like 3/4 court, goes off the backboard to force a game with them. The series were a little different too. Thank God there's more games and more stuff now. But they were a great team. They were a great franchise, and it's good to see them back. In essence, I wish they did, but they never left. But they're back, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I know you just gave your thoughts on Houston Comets, but are you happy for the Houston Comets? It's more than being sad that the Connecticut Sun's not going to exist after the season. I mean, even though Connecticut never won the WNBA Finals in the times they made it, and they're not going to be contenders this year, you almost feel bad for the Connecticut Sun. All the journalists and the media that cover the Connecticut Sun, now they're going to have to find new jobs in the WNBA basketball realms.
Well, in that essence, in that part, yeah, I do care. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I didn't care before, but I do care because, of course, like you said, the hot dog vendor. You know what I'm saying? The guy who makes the burgers, the person who serves the drinks, the T-shirt people and the vendors in there. Those people, suffer the hurt. We don't want them that, and hopefully, the Lord will bless them. Hopefully, they all have the lanes to of what they're doing to have other things to go on. And thank God they're in a. The reason why I say that does hurt, but doesn't hurt. Thank God they're in a region where the collegiate Connecticut teams are really competitive, and there will be some forms of media positions and jobs and positions in general through those collegiate teams. That's probably some of the realms they'll have to go through, and plus the other realms out there. But for it to come to Houston, and then for Connecticut, here goes the fact of the matter, and the truth is, the state wasn't supporting the team enough. The stands looked empty no matter where they played. They could have been a place, and it's 12 people in there. The fans weren't into it. They didn't care, and it was something that was only paid attention to when they're competitive. I mean, and that's easy to say. They're like, everybody wants to go somewhere when they can. Let me tell you something. The Knicks stink, whether they stink or not, whether it's a place to be, they sell out. You know what I'm saying? There's places that teams that might not do good, but at least they carry decent attendance. You know what I'm saying? They try, they figure it out. And that's because the two most important teams in Connecticut is who? You tell me, who's the two most important teams in Connecticut?
UConn men's and women's Huskies.
That's it.
May I say more?
So if the W team ain't doing good, what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna go right down to UConn because they can pray this year and maybe they win a national championship for the girls team, or at least get there, or Final Four, or have McDonald's All-Americans. They could be the UConn team. UConn always finds a way to do it. They're in it tonight. They have a great chance of winning, even though Michigan is a bad, some bad boys.
You're telling me. So I saw him really get past St. John's exhibition. Yeah. You're telling me
Michigan is tough. Duke played Michigan on a neutral site, and Duke won by like maybe 4 or 6 points. But Michigan, it was tough. You know what I'm saying? Michigan was, as you can see, they're in the national championship. And this one is very interesting because we're talking about two really great programs. Great coaches. Whether we like the Danny Hurley coaching style or not, I don't have nothing against Danny Hurley. He could be a little bit too brash, but that's Danny. He's from Big Jersey. You know what I'm saying? You know how Danny Hurley move already. And the Hurley family, they move with a swag, as they should. But the UConn boys, they always find a way to get back into the mix. So that became the biggest thing. Those are the biggest tickets there. It's like in Florida. If the Miami Heat are not doing... You know what's so crazy? Even when LeBron, Wade, and Bosh was there, now, of course, they were selling out. But because in Miami, there's so much fun things to do, they don't have the passion like how Knicks fans have the passion for the team. You know what I'm saying? It's if the Heat are not doing good, you know what the important sport in Miami, Florida is? Football. So now they gravitate to the Dolphins is super important. But when the Dolphins is whacked, the people ain't coming to the stadium like that. They got better things to do. They'll be on the beach. But one thing they will support is Miami University, Florida State, even though I think different reasons, but Florida State. Florida is a football place. They play basketball 100%, but that's a football region. It's like Texas. Texas is a football place. They play basketball, please and believe. But so they didn't support them enough. And hopefully, you know what, something tells me Connecticut will be back. And they just need to crawl before they walk.
Mm-hmm. Those are big words. Yeah, those are definitely big words. And we talked about the NCAA tournament. Yeah, unfortunately, you got us this time. You got the Giants this time. Duke, you had us. I'll give you your flowers. But what I'm not going to give you flowers for is how you let Chris Mullen had one. Excuse me. You let Brandon Mullins had one of the biggest shot of his college basketball career against Duke. I know you beat us, but you know you can't make this March Madness stories up. You can't make it. Defeat. You kill Vermont to beat Siena, take out TCU, you defeat St. John's, and you blow a 19-point lead to a team that St. John's defeated in the Big East Tournament championship game. And now UConn, they're about to play in the championship against another juggernaut in Michigan. How you explain the storyline? How you explain it? I get it. It's March Madness. Man, we talked about it a lot off the air. You can't make this stuff up. You can't.
I've been a Duke fan for a long time. I made a post after the Ballin report, but I've been a Duke fan for a long time. And you know what? I'm like a good depressed fan because I love the Giants. I will never stop being a Giants fan, and the Giants, you know, excluding what Eli Manning and those great teams with Coughlin, those great defensive teams with Strahan and other guys for those eras for 08 and 2011. Whatever from those years, Super Bowl years, the early 90s, we launched it. They've been pretty egregious the last 12 years. I'm a Rangers fan. Love them. They even won since 94. I seen it. That was a long time ago. And they're horrific this season. They're not going to the postseason. I'm not an Islanders fan, but I support them. They're down the road. They have a chance to go to the postseason, but that's starting to dwindle. You know I don't support the Mets. May God bless them. The Yankees, I've seen them win and go through, and we're going to talk about this other, you know, dynamic with this. And I am for college basketball, because of what we do, I love every team in the metropolitan area. Every team that's New York, Siena, Canisius, Hofstra, St. John's, LIU, Fordham, Queens College, Malloy, you name it. If you from New York or the metropolitan area, and I know you're a high school player, and you at those schools, I'm a fan. Trust that, because I ain't killing myself like I used to when I was a youngin' with Duke games. So, let me tell you something. I got to sit down and watch. The only game that I got to watch comfortably was the second half of the St. John's game. Even the UConn game, we got to the Applebee's Prime and more, me and the commissioner, at 10 minutes of the second half of the UConn game. And they couldn't get it on the big screen, so I was watching it on the right, and the volume is down, and I'm just watching how everything is dissipating. And here goes the bloody reality of it. I only have two teams that get this type of love and attention, and that's the Yankees and Duke. And because they've been winning organizations and they've moved a certain way and they do things a certain way, they're always magnified. You know what I'm saying? This entire season can go by The most important thing to everybody in the world is when the Yankees lose. I guarantee you it. I'm a Mets fan. If the Mets do great this year, if the Mets do bad. The worst thing is if the Mets do bad. If the Yankees get to the postseason and the Mets don't, it's like a cloud in Queens that is like pulling over the Bronx and waiting for them to lose. Just so they can. So the Duke stuff, I get it. But here's the reality of it. See, through you guys liking your teams throughout this year, you don't understand that even with doing great, you have a lot of downs. The March Madness NCAA tournament, not no excuse now. They should have won the UConn game. Clearly. They should be still possibly playing basketball now. 100%. But do you know how many times I've seen disappointing losses from Duke?
You're telling me. Yeah, I know. It's not the first. You lost to NC State when they were 11th seed a few years ago. Last year, you chilled to Houston. And then, you lost to UConn a couple of times. You like literally 20 years before, like in the late 90s. You've had losses. This is when you went over the first round to 15 seeds. Lehigh, you had lost a double seed VCU. Yeah. And you lost to Kansas one time.
Well, that's not a bad loss though. But so now
that was okay, not that bad. Oh yeah, and there's a loss to Michigan State with Zion Williamson in 2019, where you couldn't make the free throw. Yeah.
Now look how
you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of losses. I get it.
Look how you laid that one on there. Now with laying that down there and being an LIU, Fordham, St. John's supporter, how many times was those three schools that I named in this 10 to 15 radius in the tournament? Very slim, right? So here goes the thing that's the reality. Duke recruits well. They have the number one recruiting class coming back next year and returners coming to the team. They have a fine coach in John Shire who has over 120 wins and under 30 losses still to this day. He's getting criticized for losing in the Elite Eight and Final Four. And some people can't even get their school to 15 wins. He had to come behind Coach K. He'll never, ever, there's nothing, no one in life, ever. John Wooden, Coach K, there's a couple other brothers. Rick Pitino up there too. There's certain things that no human being alive will be able to break their records. You hear me? There's certain things that they done. Like, you can't replace John Wooden, what he did. You know what I'm saying? You can't do what Coach K did was special, but that was over a long time. He lost a lot. Yo, bro, why nobody called me we're old. In the 80s, Duke didn't win all the time. You know what I'm saying? We the last two national championship teams, I challenge people to tell me who's on the team. So you have a program that they could come to the kid's house and say, yo, kid, you could come here. You're going to win 20 plus something games this year. You're going to possibly win your regular season title. You're going to possibly have a chance to you're going to win the ACC championship or have a chance to be in the ACC championship. And we're going to go to the tournament. Now, I ain't going to promise you we're going to win the national championship. That's our goal. But we're going to have this opportunity every year. They got that opportunity. There's a lot of teams that was dying to go to the tournament. Miami, Ohio had to audition all day to get in when they shouldn't have, because they deserved to get in, and they did. So I'm fine with it. Now, the end was horrific. They have to execute better. Last year with the Houston game, they had to execute better too. I get the premise, but it is really foolish when you see the polls. And as I said, you always got to see that stuff when it comes to Duke. How do you have all these professional guys over the last 20 years and you can't win a championship? Because the tournament is not the NBA. One game situation is not a 7-game series. So it doesn't matter if the kids went there. So what? You just because, and you know what? How dumb that is in the professional league. If you put all the best players on the same team, does that guarantee you that you win?
Nope.
So how in the hell, just because Zion was there, RJ Barrett was there, okay, well Zion is a great talent and a great player, and he was phenomenal in college. He hasn't lived up to his expectations yet. He's really good. This is his best healthy year in a long time. And the weight is down and everything, but New Orleans ain't winning. RJ Barrett is a good player. Is he a superstar? No. He's a second, he might be the third best player on his team. Tatum was there for 1 year. You talking about guys and kids that was there for 1 year. We knew it was 6 months and they gone. So there's no direct correlation. If I send Rafiq to college and Rafiq is going to school for his doctorate, this is just a metaphor, no reality, of course. And Rafiq is going to a school to get his doctorate in some realms. It is not St. John's responsibility to get him a job when he gets out. It's his. The degree just gives him more power to be able to get things. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So the correlation, Duke never wins for losing. At first it was Duke wins, they recruit a certain type of white player, they recruit a certain type of black player, which that went down the drain because bad kids and good kids that went to Duke, that persona went out there. That went out the door. Then it was, Duke doesn't make great NBA players. Then we put 9,000 great NBA players in the league, right? Because everybody's talking about them, right? Kyrie Irving, Tatum, Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple. Do I gotta keep going?
No.
Do I gotta keep going?
No, you don't.
So that went down the drain because Duke does make great NBA players. Eat that. Nobody says nothing about North Carolina. When's the last time North Carolina had a great player? I'll wait.
They did have Khalid Williams. They did have Khalid Wilson.
Player.
They did have Khalid Wilson, who's out for the season. The guy named Khalid.
Khalid is good. Khalid is good. He's going to be a good NBA player. That's one now this year. Think back in the last 10 years. I'll wait. No disrespect.
You can't find them.
And that's no disrespect to them. That's not North Carolina's job to make them great in the NBA. It's their job to make themselves great. And going to an alma mater just don't direct that correlation. So after Duke beat that stigma, now they put great players. Now it's, how can you have all these great players on the team and win a national championship? I don't know. Ask Patino why he didn't win every year. Ask Tom Izzo why he didn't win every year. Ask Ralph Sampson why he's still trying to wait for a national championship. Come on, man. Adrian Autry, a Syracuse legend, went to Syracuse and didn't do well and put him relate with the players. He got 3 seasons and they fired him. Hubert Davis just lost his job. 5 years at North Carolina. And I ain't going to say he was the greatest and the worst. I heard he wasn't, the communication with certain players weren't good. That's why some of the transfers. That's what they said. Like Cadeau's on Michigan. He was at North Carolina last year. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Hubert Davis just lost his job. He brought North Carolina to the national championship.
And then you lost to Kansas in 2022.
Rafiq, in 5 years, he found a way to bring the team one time to the national championship. Mm-hmm. Ralph Sampson has been coaching for 9,000 years, and he's a great coach and a black man, and God bless him. And he has not won a national championship. What are we talking about here? Shires, they melted, and that's what happens in meltdowns. But you know what? It won't be the first. And it won't be the last. Duke is either going to win great or lose big. That's just how it just goes. No in between. Shout out to Mullins. Big time shot. In a year, we'll be talking about Duke being competitive again. It's a tough loss. It's not the first time. You know how many times they had people cry? It's all retribution. Christian Laettner caught the ball 90 feet from Grant Hill.
He had a game-winning shot. I saw the highlight.
Yeah, Christian Laettner caught the ball off of Kentucky or whatever one time and shot it off the backboard for a buzzer beater. I don't see Austin Rivers get a buzzer beater shot against North Carolina. We done. I seen Sean Dockery throw the ball from half court to tie the ball. I seen them do some things. I've also seen them have some tough losses too. And that one was bad. They'll recover. Boozer made a lot of he was turning the ball over a lot in the last 2 games. I talked to you about that in the St. John's game. Not the Boulder brother, the guard, of course. And that was a tough situation. Terrible pass. Wish we would have dribbled out. Wish we would have did a little something more different. They did have a timeout. They didn't call it. It's just so many things that went bad there. But it's trials and tribulations. You'll learn. You'll live. And it's harder in this game to win like that. That's why every year I say, here goes the reality of it. The powerhouses are what they say, like Patino say, the blue bloods. Yeah, that doesn't. They exist, but that doesn't exist. Just because it's North Carolina, UCLA, Duke, Kansas, yada, 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 the normal teams we usually say, doesn't mean they're going to win that year. With mid-majors becoming so good, with the transfer portal being what it is, and with a lot of college coaches not directly going to get a fresh 18-year-old off top, it makes it hard. Now, we bring in the number 1 class in the nation, but here goes something. They're all going to be 4 18-year-old kids.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now we want them to grow up this fast. This is what we're going to tell them next year. We need to win 25. We need to win 20, 25 games. If you lose a game, they're going to tell you about it. Trust me. If once you put on that Duke uniform to say brotherhood, if you win, you're going to hear about it from here on campus and everybody good. If you lose, if you don't like your Instagram, turn it off that day because you're going to hear about it. That's the mantra of Duke. So, but we need you to grow up fast. We need you to possibly so we can win a regular season title. We need the ACC tournament. We lost bad this year. We got to make it look bad. We got to get back. Like, the barometer is crazy for us. No matter, unless Duke go to the national championship in the next few years and win, y'all not going to shut up. They went to the Final Four last year. They was 1/2 away from going to the national championship. The team that beat us lost to Florida. And I know we could have probably had a better chance against Florida. It is what it is. If UConn wins it all, I'm happy. Hey, listen, at least we lost to the niggas that lost the national championship. Now you bring up the St. John stuff. Oh, Lord, would you stop it? You play them twice a year. UConn been kicking y'all butts for 722 years, and you got the nerve to kick me down about Duke? Even though Mullins lost?
I mean, come on.
UConn is playing, and y'all not. You should feel bad. You should have been doing for Duke.
It's to be expected.
It's to be expected. Well, St. John's need to win one soon. That's going to be my battle cry for you, for y'all St. John's fans. And I do still love y'all. If y'all don't win a national championship, I don't want to hear no standards from y'all. I don't care how many Big East tournaments they win in a row. If you don't win the national championship in this lifetime or the next decade, I don't want to hear. That is your barometer. I don't want to hear it. UConn did it 700 times in the last 20 years. So y'all can do it.
I mean, I have to say what it is. And no disrespect, God rest his soul. If Patrick was alive right now, he would have probably said the same thing. I'm not doing it because he's doing it, but I'm just telling that as it is. I mean, if we was able to beat UConn the way we beat UConn in a tournament game, right, it was conference or NCAA, then Duke should be able to do it as well. You had him down 19. I'm just saying.
Well, St. John, 100%. St. John's played Kansas, right?
Yeah, they did. And we need a buzzer beater by a guy who shot 0 for 4 to get past Kansas.
Was St. John's up a lot of points in that game at one point?
They were up like 13.
Right, and they gave up a lead, and they had to get a buzzer beater layup by a left-handed
Dylan Darling. Skip to my darling.
Yeah,
you heard that call before.
Yeah, so you had to get a right-handed layup for a left-handed player for the first time probably in history that he used his right hand on that right side. To get a buzzer beater layup he was 0 for 3 before that moment, which made him 1 for 4, which was 20-something%. And he went on to the next 2 games to shoot horrifically, even because and Duke, he shot horrific.
And he shot an air ball and get an opportunity to tie the game. Yeah.
Correct. So you almost lost to Kansas, who just really has Peterson and another kid. But then this is boxing. You just because you beat this guy doesn't mean that you can beat that guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's all about matchups. And as much as it hurts, and they were terrible with it, Duke melted, and they deserved to lose that game. They let the game go. They did it 2 years in a row. They have nobody to blame but themselves. They're going to bring in 4 kids next year that don't even know what that. All they're going to know is the highlights that they show from last year. And they're not even going to care about that. They're going to care about the brotherhood, but they're going to have their own mission that they got to go about and go attack for this year, the next upcoming season. It is what it is. But St. John's, your barometer to me now is until you win a national championship, I don't want to hear no chat. I want to hear your chat, but the second y'all lose, y'all go to the tournament, y'all lose. If you go to the Elite Eight and lose, I'm telling you. I'm like, no, I want your barometer to be a national championship because that's the barometer that you're giving me. So if Duke season next year, if we don't win the national championship, we're a disappointment again, correct?
No comments.
Okay, there you go. I'll accept it. It's responsibility. The same thing happens with the Yankees too.
No comment. No comment. Because it's just sports is crazy. That's all I gotta say.
March Madness is a crazy tournament. And God bless UConn. Malachi Smith. They got 2 coaches down there on that UConn staff too that are from New York too. So big shout out to them. And I'm not a hater. I would love for them to win. It'd be good. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, UConn found a way. Hurley said it. He said that they play better against non-conference teams and everybody else, and they'll make their run into the tournament. So they got their butt kicked at the right time, and sometimes that could wake you up. And they kind of woke up during the tournament too because they weren't playing the greatest coming into one of those games, but they found a way to stick it through. Michigan has a great team. It's going to be. I have no pick. I think this is a 50-50 matchup today, and it's going to be crazy.
It's definitely going to be crazy. And if you want our thoughts on UConn, Michigan, you got to look out for the next episode. Since you're probably not going to see this episode posted for like right before the end of the day, but yeah, just to give you guys a heads up. But on to another topic. We're 1 week away from the regular season for the York Knicks, and the Knicks, they notched 3rd consecutive 50-win season, which is the most they've had most successful 50 wins they've had in quite some time. It took some time, but the Knicks actually had that. They made the playoffs for since 2023. They made the playoffs every single year from that point. They've only missed the playoffs 2 times this decade. After so many bad seasons in the 2010s and 2000s, where they've had playoff appearances a couple of times, but not to this extent. But before we get to our thoughts, let's just hear a little clip for what was said on ESPN First Take when Stephen A. Smith had something to say to Mike Breen about what he said in the broadcast last time.
And many in the media and many within the organization.
Welcome back to First Take. The Knicks back in action tonight. They'll visit the Hawks, with New York looking for their first win against a team with a winning record in nearly a month. During the broadcast of the Knicks' blowout victory over the well under 500 Chicago Bulls Friday night, Mike Breen had some interesting comments in regards to those who view this season as, quote, championship or bust for New York. Listen.
There are many Knicks fans and many in the media and many within the organization who feel that this season would be considered a disappointing one if the Knicks don't make the NBA Finals. Obviously, a championship is what everyone wants, and that's the goal. But just remember where the franchise was before Leon Rose arrived. Leon Rose and his staff have done a tremendous job. And then you think about some of the play, like Julius Randle was a big part of the turnaround. Tom Thibodeau, a big part of the turnaround. And, of course, Jalen Brunson, a key figure in turning this struggling franchise around. It's amazing, and sometimes it's easy to forget there were a lot of dark years.
There were a lot of dark years. You won't find me ever saying Mike Breen is wrong, but do you think he is?
This is about to be cinema.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Breen is a Hall of Famer. One of the greatest voices in the history of sports. I love this man. I revere this man. He's special to me. What he said, what you just heard on national television, is one of the most blasphemous comments that has ever come out of his mouth. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. I hope Burke Magnus is watching. I hope Jimmy Pitaro is watching. I hope Josh Tomorrow. I hope Bob Iger's watching. I love this man, Mike Breen. That's my guy. I love him. Bang! One of the great, he's great. What has happened to you? He's the voice of the New York Knicks and MSG since 1991. Did you know that?
I did.
We know what he does for us, ESPN, ABC. Mm-hmm. But you can't allow this to go unchallenged. You've been there. We know that the New York Knicks have improved. I love Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart, all this stuff, us making news. Please, I love Josh Hart. Like Mikal Bridges, I ain't rooting against you. I'm rooting for you, my brother. I need it. I need it. Because New York Knicks fans have suffered. We haven't won a championship since Richard Nixon left office. We haven't won a championship since 1973. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is before Marvin Gaye turned it out for the national anthem. And you're telling us, oh, you got to remember the bad season that you had before Leon Rose. We we appreciate Leon Rose and the job that he's done. Does that mean that we're supposed to be satisfied with every damn thing that falls short of a trip to the NBA Finals? We ain't even asked for the championship. We just said get there. And you can't give up 6 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, who isn't an all-star. Damn it, Mike Breen, don't do this. Don't give passes. We need a trip to the finals because it's not looking good in the future. Boston's not going away. Detroit's coming. I'm going to stop right there and let you go because I want to be respectful to Mike Breen. But when I see you, and I will see you, we're going to talk about this, Mike Breen.
Now we got that. What do you think about the takes that happened earlier this morning on ESPN First Take about Stephen A? Is this the best? You think it would be a disappointment for the Knicks if they don't make it to the NBA Finals this year?
First things first. Let's do a 3-stage backup. Two things can be correct and right at the same time. We have to remember that Mike Breen works for MSG. And he does work for other networks too and other stuff like that. But he works for MSG and Leon Rose and those guys. So I'm pretty sure sometimes you have to say things positively in an eloquent way to magnify the organization that you're working for. Now, Mike Breen actually is correct in his statement, where sometimes I do try to emphasize that to certain people. I haven't seen them win a title. Trust me, I know 1973 date locked in. I've seen good stuff in the 90s, 2000s a little bit, with depression, a lot of bad times, a lot of this, boom. But I also do remind guys when they say that, I say, guys, you got to remember, 6 years ago, the Knicks didn't go to the playoffs. Like, we get so blinded, like how they became competitive and really good, so good. So that is right. And like I said, he works with these group of people. There are plenty of times when that was just one thing they had to get a big point on it. But there's plenty of times that the Knicks are bad. Mike Breen, the first one on the air, saying, yo, the Knicks play bad. They play like crap. You know what I'm saying? They do them good. They say bang, bang, whatever. But this was a bigger point. Breen is right about it. But then again, too, I don't think that, to me, if they don't get to the finals, it's not a disappointment to me. If they get to the second round and lose, if they lose first or second round, now this is a disappointment. They have to minimum try to get back to the same round that they got to last year, which is the Eastern Conference Finals. And they do have to try to get to the finals. So third round, I'm fine with it. No disappointment. It will hurt, but no disappointment. Second round, first round, yeah, this is not good. Okay? Now, Stephen A. is so cynical too. Gotta love Hollis Queens. And I got my man Blue and them have a song called Stephen A. Smith. I'll let you listen to it. He said, they say Stephen A. Smith is not down with the movement. He's a big Knicks fan and supporter, right? Or whatever. If the Knicks did get to the finals and lose, he'd be the first one talking crap. He'd be the first one. Because they know damn well, I get your point. If they get there and lose, then that's still cool getting there. But they definitely need to win, especially, I get it. Yeah, Detroit is young and up and coming. Boston do have 2 big-time studs that will be back. Atlanta has young, great wings. They're building their team. The East is going to be interesting. Toronto does have a young nucleus of players that are in there. It's going to be interesting. Charlotte, if they could ever keep it together and figure it out, you know what I'm saying? The East could be interesting. I get it. Washington has a ton of draft picks, and they'll have a ton of money, and they'll have 2 stars that's coming back off of injury, right? But if they get there and lose, he's going to be the first one to be cynical about it. Second thing of all, here goes the biggest thing. As great and as astute as Stephen A. Smith, and he actually is being himself, and I know that's how Stephen A. is per se. What goes without saying is that he's another person that no matter what, whether he likes it or not, it's a game. Clickbait and saying things out of this world is great in this world. And he thrives off that. Skip Bayless used to thrive off being controversial. You understand? Because it makes people pay attention. It brings eyes and views. So he knew he got to go up there on ESPN today to magnify that. That brings 7 million people. We talking about it now. So in my eyes, with all that backtracked with that monologue for the story, if they get to the 3rd round and lose, it is not a disappointment. If they get to the finals and lose, it's not a disappointment. If they lose in the 1st round to whoever, the season's a disappointment. There's a lot of things that's going to have to change. If they lose in the 2nd round, same thing.
Yeah, the only nitpick with that is, well, if the season today, they might play Philadelphia. It's between Philadelphia, Toronto, Orlando, or even the Charlotte Hornets. So you see the Charlotte Hornets are up and coming. And in the 2nd round, you may face the Boston Celtics. I know we did beat Boston last year, and I'm confident we can still beat them this year, but I'm not going to get overconfident with the Celtics, especially since we had to come back from 20 points 2 times. We had to come back from double digits to win the 3 games out of the 4 we won to take out the Boston Celtics. And we could do it. But then you had the Detroit Pistons. We beat them before, but they're a lot better than they were than the team we knocked out last year.
You know what? At this point, here goes the real truth to it. And Detroit is really, really good. And then Cunningham will be back, and they'll make a surge. And, the Celtics have those 2 dynamite guys, and, Tatum and Brown, they're dynamite. And we talked about so many other Eastern Conference teams that are just young and coming. But here's what I believe, and you could correct me too, Rafiq, if wrong, and you've seen it. If the Knicks are playing on all clicking on all cylinders, kind of like how they had earlier in the season, that little stretch run when they won the cup, they're really hot around them. And a few weeks back, they got really hot again too. They have all the keys to make a run. Mm-hmm. You have a point guard that can score dynamically and create and do things. You have a hellacious defender in OG Anunoby, who should be all first team defense. And up there for Defensive Player of the Year, who can also get you a bucket. One of the best of knocking down corner 3-point shots and can be athletic. Yes, it hurts that we gave up 7,000 draft picks for Mikal Bridges, but he's there. He can play. He needs to just play like Mikal and perform when it's his time to always get his thing and get in there and do his thing. And where that 6 draft pick stuff only comes up consistently when Mikal's not playing well. Because last year when he was stealing the ball and doing everything in the playoffs and doing this and doing that, Mikal Bridges was the best thing in the world to everybody. Then with Karl-Anthony Towns, Robinson, if they could just play Dyer, you have Alvarado, you have Tyler Cole could keep on the roster, you have your Jordan Clarkson. They have the keys to win it. They just got to just play like we know they could play. And if they play that brand like they had that stretch when they won the NBA Cup, there's no team in the Eastern Conference that could beat them. But if they're playing under their potential, they will be in trouble.
And it doesn't even help that after the season. I mean, I know we don't want to think too far ahead, but it doesn't even help that they're not going to have the money to keep everybody after this season. Because Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns could have want more, from what I'm told.
Well, here goes the thing. Well, Karl Anthony Towns should be still under contract. So
they're under contract, but once the contract's up, they're not going to have the money to play all the players.
Yeah, but look at see, I don't got my phone, but Brunson is up for something soon, and Brunson, we could look up their time when their contract's up. Brunson's too. I believe Karl Anthony Towns might be under contract, whatever trade deal, but he, yes, I know that in general if they have some form of opt out, they'll try to opt for money. Here goes the real truth. Brunson should have took more money when he had the first time to do it around. I know he was being nice. I told y'all about that. I told y'all. Everybody said, listen, it's a noble act. I respect him for that. He should have took all his money then. He did that so they could be flexible and get other things. And then Mikal Bridges, you got the draft picks and everything. Let me tell you something. It's on his shoulders, too, as much Leon Rose and all those guys. He should want to win it more than everything to solidify that. Then you can guarantee that. But whatever. They'll figure it out.
Yep, they'll figure it out. I mean, come on. Well, look at the contracts. Karl Anthony Towns, well, after 2027, he has a player option to come back. And then Jalen Brunson, he signed until, for what I'm seeing, he signed up until 2028 with a player option in 2029.
Right.
And and Mikal Bridges, his contract is up to like over 38,000. His contract's good till 2029. So yeah. They're not going to have the money to keep everybody in. Well, it's really the role play. If you look at it, it's really the role players that they have to work on trying to keep. Mitch Robinson, Jose Alvarado, he has a player. I mean, he's good till next year, but he has a player option after 2020 for 2026, 27. The team payroll overall is like over 211,398,842.
Now, here goes some things about what you just said right there. One, if Brunson eventually asks for more money, it'll be something that the organization will have to sit down and both of them and consider doing. Hopefully it doesn't make things better. I'm pretty sure they can come to something because technically he's still under contract. You understand what I'm saying? Towns is up next season. So when this season ends, the next season starts. When it's 2027, the next season, when June comes, that's when he's free. He's still got to come to work, too. Mikal Bridges is under contract. OG Anunoby signed a 5-year deal. He got about 3 more years on that. Their core nucleus is there. We have to figure out what we're going to do with Mitchell Robinson. I would love Mitchell Robinson to stay. Who knows if he still wants to stay in that role? Who knows? I think he enjoys being a Knick. We dropped there. Everything should work out. But he has the right to look for more money now because he could deserve it and get it. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the game, and he's a hellacious defender.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan Clarkson might decide to move on. That's the veteran stuff. But here goes the crazy thing. Jordan Clarkson left Utah. He could have went to 2-3 other teams, and he decided and elected he wanted to come play in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Alvarado. Alvarado wants to be a Knick. He's from the town. So what about they work out? They work out something good. Alvarado is not expensive per se. He had to fight and claw to get to the league. And Grand Theft is my man. He's a great person, great everything. But man, they gave Jose a 3-year deal, $15 million. Jose good. Because he came from nothing and he does so many things and he makes everything happen that him just staying here would be good. Coley could still love rookie the thing on the contract. You know what I'm saying? Dyer, we'll see where guys want to go, but from what I see right now, it's a lot of the guys that are there seem to love being a Knick, want to be a Knick, and want to be a part of it. Let's just see, where the chips fly with everybody.
Yeah. Well, we know this much. Even though it's not looking good for the Knicks next year when the Indiana Pacers come back at the Tyrese Haliburton because after season injury, it's not too slim. They just have to try to make sure they come up with a way to keep all their players after these contracts are up. Because they have a lot of expiring contracts. Well, not this summer, but the summer after, they have a lot of expiring contracts that could affect the Knicks Knicks, and I wouldn't be even if they get impatient and not able to win now. I would not be surprised if they ask for a trade because they think about the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade a lot.
The what trade?
The Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
they have a conversation about Giannis Antetokounmpo coming to the Knicks. I wouldn't be surprised if they make trade one of these big time players to get him. I would not be surprised.
I will tell you this much though: if the Knicks lose in the first, second,
it's gonna happen anyway.
They will go after Giannis. If they lose in the third round and it's bad or whatever, they still might go after Giannis. And if they get to the finals and either lose bad or lose close, they still might go get Giannis.
Yeah. But it usually depends on the seeding because, well, obviously tonight they got the Atlanta Hawks, and later on in the week you have to face the Charlotte Hornets, and then obviously that big game against the Boston Celtics. Well, depending on how things happen, because Boston have a game against the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow, that might not matter anymore because Boston only has to win 1 or 2 games, and the Knicks have to lose 1 or 2 games so we'll secure that second seed. It will all go down to how the Knicks manage themselves to try and get that second seed. They fell off big time. And Boston low-key are back with Jason Tatum being back. What more do you want? What more can you say?
I respect them so much. I respect certain teams in these Cavs. And so we play them in a series. We know different these teams are going to be good. The teams we talk about. But I just even Detroit. I respect Detroit. They kicked our butts in the regular season. We haven't beat them. We haven't figured them out yet. But I just know when the Knicks are playing their game and on their game, and you know the eye test periods that I've talked about during the year, when they've been like that, they've been really difficult to beat. And if they can ever bottle that up and put that in the postseason, they'll have the keys to be able to compete and beat any team in the Eastern Conference. If they do not figure it out in the next week and a half, 2 weeks before playoffs get here, it's going to be a very interesting playoff journey.
Yep, it's definitely going to be interesting. All right, now who's episode Nothing But That Sports Talk. We're thinking was on Wavy Ryan Walker stopping by on the show. Don't forget to watch this podcast, Wavy World, to show you a clip of one of his previous interviews with the women's basketball team, and you'll have more interviews. And yeah, we're gonna continue to elevate ourselves in this media space. That's all I could say. And for those who just continue to follow our content. We really appreciate the support with the few views that we get, but you got to start little before you start a lot. It's a growing process. The process will happen. For our feet, Ryan Wavy Walker, we'll see you next time.
Wavy World, get your surfboard ready for the prime wave. Wavy World.